Welcome to Big D channel. Big D, Mopar, and Hellcats. First off, I want to give you guys an introduction as far as this. This is a 2016 Dodge Challenger Hellcat with a 707 horsepower Mopar motor, which is basically a supercharged motor with 650 foot-pounds of torque. What's been modified so far in this car is a cold air intake with the forced induction hood, what gives it automatically 717 horsepower. But we also did some other small modifications to it. We got American racing headers with the catback muffler system, delete all the way back. So you're looking at basically another 50 to 60 horsepower, and she has a tune. When she was dynoed, after that work done to it, she was at 760 to the wheels. And we finna get ready and get another big upgrade to it, where we're gonna change the injectors, which is gonna be 1050 ID 1050 injectors, and we're going with a 2.85 inch pulley, which will basically add more boost to the motor itself. Because I think factory wise, it comes with like a 313 pulley, and this is going down to a 2.85 pulley. So basically, what that would do is it allows the car to spin more faster, build more boost, more compression. We also getting the snout ported and polished. What that would do is that would add another 50 to 60 more horsepower. We getting a fuel system, the whole fuel system upgrade, which we have double pumps, 2 fuel pumps inside the tank. That adds more pressure, more fuel power. Well, basically, when you start to add more pressure, more fuel power, you can more air, more power. Let me correct myself. More air, more fuel, more power. So when the snout get ported and polished, with all that more pressure coming through, it allows it to go through the headers even more correctly. Now, we also doing another upgrade where we're going to do 4-inch aluminum drive shaft. Now, one of the things I say as far as you have to watch when you start to get tamper into muscle cars, when Dodge created this car, they had a two-piece drive shaft, and with that two-piece drive shaft, it does its work. But when you start to increase in horsepower, you have the capabilities of it cracking and popping. So I'm going with a aluminum drive shaft all the way back, with the brace on the back of the rear end. Another thing we're doing, we changing this thermostat to 180 degree thermostat so we can keep the motor cool, and we're putting a tensioner belt on it so that keeps the pulley itself from slipping. When you look at all the modifications and the upgrades, from a standpoint, you're looking at, you can roughly get 1,000 horsepower. I'm trying to stay at the safe level. I don't want to go with E85. I'm gonna stay on fuel. Regular gas, pump gas, 93 and up. So the guy that's gonna do the horsepower and do the performance work to it, he's gonna keep me at 1,000 or so to the crank, and 900 to 950, 960 to the wheels. You know, when you start to modify your car, you have to watch about the pros and the cons. You can have a whole bunch of power, but if you can't get it to the ground, what that does, all you're basically doing is you're just spinning. So I also went with a 315 Continental 3520 and on a 20 by 11 inch rim. Because when Mopar created this car, they put all their power to the wheels on 275s, which are too small. So I'm going with a 315 3520. And right now it's a 315 3520 on it right now, but I'm even putting new tires on it because as you can see, I done did some playing with it and burnt them tires out too. Well, hands down, when you start talking about performance, I have to give credit where credit is due. I've owned Grand Nationals, Typhoons, Mustangs. Now, hands down, my Grand National was an awesome car. Boost wise, it would boost like no tomorrow. But it was never tampered with, and it was a stock car. My Typhoon was really tampered with, and it was fast. But when you say power to power, I have to give Mopar, I got to give them hands up. Dodge did an awesome job. Like right now, they just released a new lineup for 2020 and 2021. And that consists of the Dodge Durango with a Hellcat motor. It's going to have 710 horsepower, and if I'm not mistaken, it's going to have 700 or 650 or 60 foot-pounds of torque. Now that is extremely awesome for an SUV. An SUV with that type of power, hands down, they say it's going to be the fastest SUV. 0 to 60 going to be 3.6, 3.5 seconds. It's going to run a quarter mile at 11.5. That's moving. Then Dodge to release the Superstock, Challenger Superstock, which is basically, it's a detuned Demon. That's what it basically is. It's a detuned Demon. It's going to have 807 horsepower with 707 foot-pounds of torque. That's some serious power. And then they also released the Charger Red Eye with 797 horsepower and 707 foot-pounds of torque. Now, when you start talking about numbers, I can't take no credit away from Chevrolet. Chevrolet has their Camaro Z01 with 650 horsepower and 650 foot-pounds of torque. Z06, 650 horsepower and 650 foot-pounds of torque. Off the line, they basically almost annihilate us off the line. Once we hook up and get the second, third gear, watch out, here come Mopar. So I say to my future Mopar guys and ones who want to come and join the Mopar team, just be prepared for a whole extreme a lot of power. Here he is where we started it up. As you can see, I got the instrument panel showing the track, which this is how I basically drive it. I drive it in track and sport, mainly because track gives you the more aggressive shifting. I mean, your RPMs, they shift out harder and stronger. You can go into sport. Sport takes you to a quicker shift, but you still got the aggressive power of over 700 horsepower. And basically with this car right here already, it's more than 700 horsepower. Driving in it, sometimes, guys, I tell you one thing: it's an aggressive mode, but it's a mode that you can really enjoy. I'm gonna switch to track so we can get a couple of good pulls. Hands down, you got a car that actually on the highway gets you 22 to 25 miles to the gallon. Now that is incredible for a high performance car. Basically, let's take this back, a muscle car giving you that type of performance and that type of gas mileage. Getting 22 to 25 miles to the gallon. And you just feeling it. Every time I punch it, you just feel a response from it. My mama called it a kitty cat. I call it just a big wildebeest. But hands down, driving this car, guys, it's incredible. I have a 07 Grand Cherokee. Hands down, it's like a little kid to a grown man. There's no comparison when you come to power. Once again, driving these cars, I tell you, to have this type of power in your hands, and you can at any time. With a supercharged car, you got spontaneous power because the supercharged reacts spontaneous off gas throttle. When you deal with a turbo car, you have to spool the car up. So it basically is you have to build up the boost. With the supercharged car, boost is already there for you, right at your fingertips. As many times I've driven this car, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I have driven this car at some extreme speeds. I tell you, I think the fastest I've ever driven it so far is 181, and it's capable of running 203 miles an hour with no problem. I ain't recommending nobody to go out there and do that, because believe me, Johnny Law, you won't have no more license, let alone you won't have no more car. Sometimes you can hear my wife saying, "Baby, slow down." a sneak peek of what she's capable of doing. Man, like in the city, like I said, you get 13 miles to the gallon. Highway 22 to 25. If you don't put your foot in it, because they said running at high speeds from a full tank to empty, you can empty the full tank out in 11 minutes. Now, where you gonna go and drive that fast to where you gonna go extreme speeds and empty out your tank? Believe me, you'll be talking about it with your cell block legs. You sure be able to tell them, yeah, what you in for? Well, extreme speeds. I got this saying called fresh meat on the hook, which you'll be hearing me saying it a lot. Like today, this is our fresh meat on the hook. The introduction of this Hellcat right here. I want to inspire guys to go out. If you're gonna buy a performance car or muscle car, hey, like I said, it's good things that's to it, and it's some setbacks to it too. You're gonna go through some tires. I done went through 4 sets of tires already. Pirellis, Nettos, Continentals 1, now Continental 2. And it's up to what you want to do with it. I've been on long trips with it, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a comfortable ride. That's one thing I got to give Mopar credit for what they did with this car. It's a heavy car, it's a comfortable ride. When you drive it in custom, it relaxes the whole car itself. Even the shift points is just so soothing. Now, if you put it in track and sport, you get a stiffer ride, especially track. Your ride is real stiff. This is not no track car. They use the track mode, but this is not a track car. Because hands down, the ZL1 and Corvette at a track would just embarrass this car because this car is just so heavy. You're looking at a car that weighs 4,400 pounds dry weight of 4,400 pounds. That's a lot of weight compared to they weighing anywhere from 32 to 35, no more than 39. Now the GT500, the new GT500, it races at 41, almost 4,200 pounds. And it's 760 horsepower, and I think it's like 500 some foot-pounds of torque. It's quick. But you got to give Dodge credit. They did their homework when they built this car. Because they still using the same platform, and this same platform is still in works all the way up until 2021, 2022. So that tells me that, hey, you know, when they built this car, they did their research, they put it out there, and the sales just continue to rise. Ask me, will I buy another Dart? Yes, I would. Hands down, I would. Built American tough. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. It's an extremely strong car, well-built car. I've had no problems with this car, none whatsoever. AC will freeze you. Because the AC feel awesome here. Freezing the heck out of me already. Might even make my hair grow a little bit there. When I first started looking at these cars, I actually was gonna get a Charger, a 4-door Charger. Until I looked at that Challenger and I was like, wow, that's a bad motor scooter there. Then I went out and test drove one, and I was just amazed by just the performance of it. And believe it or not, the Charger runs faster. It's like 3 or 4 miles faster. Charger is faster because it's more aerodynamic in the front 14 in his Charger. That's moving. That's seriously moving. I would love to take this out there to the Joliet and run it on that airport road and see what this cable is doing in a half mile or mile. I love the way it shifts down too. I never run this car in manual, and like I got it in manual right now, and then I can shift up. I just shift up, but I never run it in manual due to the fact that I'm so used to letting the automatic do its work. I owned a Mustang, and guys with Mustangs, we had 5 speeds, and the Grand National was an automatic. There's no way a man in the manual going to outshift a person in automatic. You can have the best drivers in the world, and they'll tell you you're not going to outshift them. It's just that mechanical device in that automatic transmission is going to make a fool out of you. When I put the headers on this car, it made this car more aggressive torque-wise. It added, they said 50 to 60 more horsepower. They got a YouTube viewing of them installing the headers that I have on here now, and then added on the dyno, I think it was like 50 more horsepower, and it did add another 50 to 60 more foot-pounds of torque. I felt it when I put it on this car, because you can really feel it. You can feel the aggressiveness as far as the torque-wise. It actually showed better fuel mileage too, even after I did it. A lot of guys don't like spending that type of money to put the headers on the car, but I mean, I believe pound for pound and dollar for dollar was worth it, be putting those headers on here. And I'm a header man anyway, because I got headers on my Jeep. Even the guy that's doing the work on it, he says you're a rare species, because a lot of guys don't want to spend that money putting them headers. They like to just do the cat back deletes. Nothing against cat back deletes. I think they're too loud. And then on top of that, some cops can give you a noise pollution ticket, and I don't want to be dealing with that. That's just too much speed. Every time you drive around, a cop wanna catch your attitude and give you a noise pollution ticket. But this right here, this is not that loud. You feel it, but it's not that loud. And then if I want to, I can even baffle it down more, because it still has that device on it where you can take the baffle and baffle them down even more. Believe it or not, I do let my wife drive the car, only in eco mode. I'm not gonna lie to you, because every time she get in it, baby, I'm gonna drive it tomorrow. I'm like, no, I think I'm gonna leave it in the garage. Happy wife, happy life, I tell you. So all my future Mopar guys and just viewers itself alone, welcome to Big D's car review. Hopefully we can give you guys insight on cars. It ain't just gonna be Mopars, it will be all type of cars. Because I'm a car guy, I love cars. I had a passion for cars ever since I was a kid. I used to collect them, collect Hot Wheels and Matchbox and Johnny Lightning, and my mama would say, boy, what you gonna do with all them cars? I said, Mama, I just love cars. So, to all my future fans, like, subscribe, leave me comments. I will believe me, I will respond to your comments, and I will give you guys viewing of everything you want to see. I love all cars, all type of cars. I'm also a truck guy too, tractor trailers, because that's what I use for a living. But want to thank everybody for viewing, like, subscribe, and look forward to hearing from you. Big D signing off. Be blessed and enjoy yourself.